Do you still remember that feeling? The moment that enormous American flag filled the screen, or the moment George C. Scott's thunderous voice hit your ears, you instantly knew Patton was beginning. Back then, the screen was tiny, the picture was blurry, but Patton would still march out, lift his head, adjust his gun belt, and it was enough to silence an entire living room like a barracks awaiting orders. In our memories, Patton is a world where generals speak lines that shake the earth, tanks roar like iron beasts, and history seems to exist without a single crack. But Patton wasn't just a 7-Oscar war monument, it was its own kind of battlefield where the lead actor fought with the director to the point of nearly quitting, where slaps were so real the crew froze on the spot, where the US military quietly applied pressure behind the scenes, and where phone calls from the Pentagon carried a message everyone understood: this cannot be ignored. George C. Scott himself revealed that the iconic opening speech was almost destroyed. Fox executives thought the monologue was too harsh, too raw, too Patton for mass audiences. They wanted a safer opening, but director Franklin J. Schaffner and Francis Ford Coppola fiercely rejected the idea. For them, the speech wasn't just an introduction, it was the soul of the character. Scott said he memorized Patton's real words verbatim and intentionally waited until the shooting day to put on the full uniform, hoping to shock the entire crew. When he stepped out before the flag, nobody said a word. They just stared because they felt Patton had entered Scott. The scene that was nearly deleted is now regarded as one of the greatest openings in cinema history. But what most viewers don't know is that behind those marching armies, the Pentagon was quietly pulling strings. Producer Frank McCarthy, who once served as Assistant Secretary of War, used his military connections to open doors no outsider could ever touch: classified military files, real vehicles, real uniforms. When the Patton family protested the slapping incident and the studio wanted to polish the general's image, McCarthy stood firm: Patton wasn't perfect, and that's exactly why he's worth telling. Stephen Young, who played Captain Chester Hansen, revealed that Scott's first slap was so real the entire crew froze. No one moved. No one breathed. Scott didn't slap like an actor, he slapped like a general punishing a subordinate. But what was even more shocking was that the take used in the film wasn't that original one. In the first version, Scott grabbed the soldier's collar, yanked him forward until their faces nearly touched, and his eyes blazed as if he were about to devour the man whole. Young still shudders recalling it. Scott wasn't acting, he was Patton, and that was terrifying. Perhaps most surprising of all, Francis Ford Coppola revealed he got fired from the film and still won the Oscar. He recalled being summoned to a Fox office only to hear a sentence as cold as a knife: "Your script is too psychological. We want tanks, not introspection." Draft after draft returned with notes like "unfilmable." Then, almost ironically, Patton won the Oscar for Best Screenplay, but Coppola wasn't at the ceremony. He was busy making another movie. The film they once said couldn't be made became the thing that silenced all of Hollywood. George C. Scott lived as Patton to the point of nearly collapsing. Colleagues said that every time Scott stepped into the frame, the entire set seemed to change color. He kept giving orders, kept barking commands even after the camera stopped. He did his own horseback stunts, filmed under the blistering Spanish sun, chain-smoked to keep his voice rough, and drank to maintain the character's edge. At one point, he collapsed right in the middle of a scene. The doctor insisted he rest. Scott shook his head: "Patton isn't tired, so I'm not allowed to be tired." And then, when awards season came, Scott refused his Oscar, calling it a meat parade. He sent a letter declining the nomination, stating bluntly, "I don't want to turn actors into racehorses. I don't need a trophy." The Academy awarded him anyway, and he sent it back. But perhaps the film's greatest legacy is one that still amazes people today: the US military actually used Patton to teach leadership. The Army analyzed Patton's command style in the film, his decision-making, his talents, and his flaws, as if he were a case study in an official curriculum. Hollywood rarely enters military classrooms, but Patton did, not through perfect accuracy, but through the sheer force of its imagery. If you want to discover more hidden stories Hollywood never revealed, hit that like button and subscribe to Hollywood Unseen. Ring the notification bell because we're diving deeper into the secrets behind classic films, the truths only actors, directors, and crew ever dared to say.